So on my way home from the dentist today, I went by the dump and I found myself a old Dell computer. Took a peek inside and it was worth the $10 I paid for it just in the memory alone. That's about 4 gigs of DDR2, and retail price for that's about $60, so I've already made my money back. And like anything that ends up in the dump, it has a problem where it shuts off with a USB over current protection, and I think one of these ports is probably shorted out because this thing looks like it's been wet. And I always take these things completely apart when I get them to see absolutely how people abuse these things. This is the inside of the power supply. Looks like it was on the floor of a shop for who knows how long and never cleaned. And this is one of those crappy Bestech power supplies that are notorious for exploding and catching on fire. So I'm going to clean this thing up and I'm going to see if I can get this thing working again. So I got her pretty well cleaned up. I was right, it looks like it's about 4 gigabytes of DDR2 800 megahertz PC2 6400. It has a slower Inspiron, so you can see that. It's a Inspiron 1250, and it runs at 2.2 gigahertz. It's not too bad for a machine this old. I'll probably clean it up and give it to the local church for something for them to use. It's a 320 gigabyte hard drive, a modem, and not many people use those anymore. I thought I'd go over why these Bestech power supplies are so bad. So this was made during the capacitor plague era. It uses these crappy Capexon primary cap line caps, and I've seen these things forcibly detonate out the top, and if they don't, then they usually start bulging and causing all sorts of grief. And I've seen them blow out the primary switching transistor, I've seen them blow out bridge rectifiers. But from the secondary side, it's not much better. There's also a few Capexon caps in there, but there's also OST caps, which are pretty equally bad. They like to dry up and go open circuit or go high resistance ESR, and they cause all sorts of grief on the output. You'll put a meter across it and get some weird voltage or high ripple. There's a Capexon right there. And for the control logic, there's a bunch of Jamicon caps, and those aren't very good either. And I had one of these in another computer just like this, where the caps on the control board had gone out, and it caused the power supply to shut down randomly, put out weird voltages, and just cause general havoc. Replacing these isn't cheap. So if one of these goes out in your computer, you might as well just donate it to somebody, because I think these are about $60 or $70 for a 250 watter, which is what this thing is. Yeah, it's about $250. Although I wouldn't trust it to $250, because this is an ATX version of the same thing. And there's a Bestech, and you can see it forcibly detonated right there due to crappy capacitors right here. And I pulled that one out and resoldered it back in, and it had gone high ESR. And then there's a couple other ones that didn't even register on my capacitor tester. Chopped everything off to make sure that this thing never gets used again. It's going to go straight in the recycling. So if you look up these switching transistors, this thing was rated for 250, 300 watts, and those switching components were nowhere near rated for that. This thing was grossly overrated, and that's probably one of the reasons that it died. Just waiting on these fans to dry to put it back together, because this thing was disgusting. I'll probably give it a little bit of a boost with my air compressor to blow out these fins, otherwise it'll take all day for this thing to dry up. I'll get back to you when I get this thing back together. See how it runs. Well, managed to get her up and running with all 4 gig of RAM. There's 4 user accounts on here, and they made it easy for me. Admin account, no password whatsoever, so I didn't have to end up using my USB key to get into it. And sure enough, there is personal data on this machine. Come on, people, whenever you get rid of your machine, destroy the hard drive or do something. So, let's see if I can open a screen so I don't show all these people on here. So it looks like Inspiron LE 1250, 2.2 gigahertz, 4 gig of RAM, 32-bit OS, doesn't make much sense. Windows Vista Home Basic with Service Pack 1, so obviously they didn't want to install the updates on here. Device Manager. Display adapter. Yeah, it just has the good old onboard NVIDIA. Oh, and I forgot to show you what I used to fix the USB ports. I actually used 2 different things. So, to clean the grime out, because it looks like that motherboard had been partially underwater, I use this stuff. Works great for weird electrical issues, especially in automobiles. And then to get rid of the corrosion, the Oxide Gold. A little bit of this stuff goes a long way. Shot this in the ports, waited for about 20 minutes, and that overcurrent error went away. It then exposed an error with the memory contacts were dirty, and there's a different thing you can use to clean those up. Is just get some of this on a Q-tip, rub it along the contacts on the bottom, and then rub it dry, and it'll get your crusty memory modules that had errors working again. And the CD-ROM's doing weird stuff. It keeps ejecting whenever I plug it in, so I unplugged it for now. I'll have to either solve that or throw that one away and get another one and shove it in there. And for my hoard, I should have at least one more SATA drive in there that I could toss. 120 gig hard drive. Yeah, it cleaned up pretty nice. No more dirt, no more grime. It's nice and clean on the inside, so whoever gets this machine will be a lucky person. I'll have to deal with all the crap that was in there. That's about it.